Hi, I'm going to talk to you about user stories in this session, and following on from the behavioral driven development where I showed you how you do your audience research and then track down to the development via your business analysts and your product owners and your testers, and then back out with sign-offs. So breaking down what the users want and their behaviors into user stories can seem fairly easy once you start it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just let you show you my thinking. So I'm actually creating this Agile Project Manager Pocket Companion mobile app. So I thought I'd show you creating some user stories with that. First off, I'll just show you the actual structure of a user story. Generally accepted that it's as a role, such as a user, end user. I want, and then goal or desire. So I want to be able to watch an agile video offline on my mobile, so that benefit, so that I can quickly glean information in a busy environment. So that's a typical user story I might have for this product. There's this invest principles of user stories. So I bring this up because you write down all your user stories, which we'll get to. You can write them on cards, or you can put them into virtual software such as RallyDev or Pivotal Tracker and Jira. Just whilst I'm on this Pivotal Tracker page, I like some of the things they say here. Get on the same page. Everyone shares the same up-to-date minute view of what's going on with the project and needs to know what needs to be done next. Let the product owners know in intimate detail where things are without having to ask. It lets developers spend time on work rather than reporting the work. So it's that organizational transparency that is offered by either using a physical wall with cards on it, or by using software such as this that everyone has access to and regularly checks. I tend to use Jira just because that's what Sony and BBC used, and I implemented it at Barclays. So and they had it there already actually, some of them. I've got an account, so I'll take you through Jira now. Did I want to say anything more about these things? Oh yeah, so when you get all your cards up, you can make them all, and then they go onto like a card wall. I'll just decrease the size of that. So if you can imagine this process going left to right in terms of ready for dev, maybe cucumbers being written, ready for actual development, and that being the backlog back there then. So backlog, tests are being written, it's now ready for development, then it gets taken into development maybe, and then it's ready for being checked for test, and then it's done. That sort of flow. But what can happen is that you can get whole bunches of stories sticking together sometimes, and that's one of the issues around user stories. So if you have too big a user story, it can take too long to get it across that board. So I'll go through these in the order they're done in, but that might not be the best way. So independent, the user story should be self-contained. There's no inherent dependency on another user story. That's really tricky to achieve actually. So for example, if you could imagine like a multi-tier architecture, where you've got a presentation layer, which is your user interface, a logic layer where you've got the business intelligence, and a data layer where you've got your databases, your data models. A typical Prince2 waterfall standard SDLC software development lifecycle model will have you design all those at the beginning, and then create them and then deploy them all at once, all together. So I might go and create the database, and I'll do the entire relational database model system, RDBMS, top to bottom, with every single interpersonal relationship on it. then someone else or I might go and create all of the logical code, and the designer might meanwhile be getting on with the entire user interface. Now that, when you move to Agile and Agile releases, you've got to whittle that in, and you've got to start slicing this stuff up sashimi style. So if you can imagine, that's your whole MVC architecture, model view controller, or your sort of your UI, your middleware, and your back end, to use the old terminology. You want to be able to slice that stuff up into user stories. So that's sashimi. It can be done. There's a trick in it. There's some tools such as nhibernate and Orm in terms of database model layer, where that starts to help slice it up. One trick that you have to have in each of those layers, your developers and designers will have to have, and even your product owners will have to have, is being able to have a bit more of a vision about what the final product will be, and then just be able to deliver releases towards maybe that final product. But that vision, the great thing about it is that it's not concrete and it can morph and change, and that's where the whole great dynamics of Agile come in. But nevertheless, you need to have some sort of vision so that when you're adding each release, you can start to build the whole thing up again. So independent from each other, negotiable, user stories up until they're part of an iteration can be changed and rewritten. Yeah, Agile, bring it on, change. Valuable, a user story must deliver value to the end user. I'll talk about the value chain, or diminishing value in another video about product releasing. Estimable, you must always be able to estimate the size of each user story. So yeah, it's one of the things you're going to want, the management probably team are going to want as much as anything else, is to be able to see how long this backlog might take to push through as a whole, whether they need to hire more people, whether they need to cut it up, where they can draw their release dates. Sized appropriately or small. So I think this is mostly a progress and morale thing. So like I said before, if something's too big, user story is too big, and get chugged up, it can take weeks or days or too long basically to move across that board, and suddenly the momentum's gone and you don't feel you're releasing stuff or getting things done. So being able to slice stuff up. So like some teams have rules like if it's more than 3 days development, that story is too big and it needs to be cut up. So that's all part of backlog grooming, which I'll come to at another point as well. And testable. The user story or its related description must provide the necessary information to make test development possible. Yeah, I'll get to that. That's more the acceptance criteria and the cucumbers, which I'll definitely have other videos on. So all of these, they bring a whole raft with them, which I won't actually directly tackle just now. I'm just going to basically tackle an initial set of user stories. So without further ado, if I jump back to Jira, I've not actually looked at this before. So in the beginning, this is my first time creating it. Create a new project and board. Project name, great. Agile Pocket Companion. APC, yeah. I'll be the project lead administrator. Green Hopper simplified workflow. That'll do for now, I think. So we'll create that. Hopefully it won't take too long. Might need to pause this and come back to you guys. This is a hosted service by Atlassian. So this is just using their Epic awesome cloud-based software as a service. So here we go. Create a sprint. I want to just jump straight into creating a user story, and Jira cross-language for user story unfortunately is issue. So we'll create an issue of type user story. Now they've got some epics in here, and that's interesting. I might start off with an epic actually. So an epic is like, you could imagine like an epic novel. It's like a big novel, then inside it you've got maybe smaller stories, and you can sort of have a hierarchy of epics down to user stories. If an epic's a big idea, you try and, like I said, break it up into smaller stories and then those stories might need breaking up within themselves in order to get developed. If I've got an epic, no, I'll tell you what, I'll come back to the epic. So story, let's just, so this is basically the video, offline, let's call it offline videos. Major, you don't need to worry about all of that. Components, effect versions, so there's quite a lot of bump getting in here, but at the end of the day, the bigger your organisation, the more you might need those. I'm just going to literally bump this into the description. As a user, I want to view a quick and simple video on an agile topic, so that I understand it better. Okay. So there's original estimates and stuff. So I'd have to talk to my developer that I'm hiring if I wanted to use all that and show you the backlogs. I'm not going to get to that in this episode. Create another, because I love that one so much. And okay, ready to go again. So summary. This is like its name title, I think, rather than anything else. So let's have topic, menu. Okay, I do. And I think it's duplicated all of this. But as a user, I want to see a list of all the agile topics so that I can find the one I am most interested in. Let's create an attachment here actually, because I'll share this Jira with my developer at some point, and I've actually created a mock-up of what I want. So yeah, I can show you that a bit bigger later. So create another after this one, yeah. What will this one be about? Links to longer videos. As a user, I want to see longer videos on YouTube. You shouldn't really get into implementation in business language. Maybe that your developer turns around, but you might definitely know that your users want it on YouTube. I think it's such a cracking service, probably universally accepted, that they should be on YouTube, not Vimeo or something else. As a user, I want to view longer videos, not just longer, more in-depth videos on YouTube about the topics, so that I can gain further knowledge. create that one. So these have all been from an end user's point of view, and what I've been thinking about over the last few days, and I haven't got to yet on this, is I'm on 15 minutes already, I apologise. Maybe I'll wrap it up, but for example, personas. So instantly I'm kind of thinking it might be like a newbie project manager, or maybe a project manager who's come from Prince 2, and those guys might have different requirements for this app, such as evidence links. So this is a persona. As a skeptical waterfall PM, I want to see evidence of each topic, evidence of the benefits of each topic, so that I can be convinced or otherwise. Okay, just one last one, and I'll decheck this box now so I don't get into and then we can see them all listing up. Right, so as a newbie, as a mobile, so yeah, this is like another slight twist on this. As a busy newbie, mobile owning PM. Oh crap. I'll just make this one the short videos, which I've already got in there, but it wasn't persona led, and so I didn't mention the shortness. So as a busy newbie mobile owning PM, I want some short offline videos so that I can glean info during my loo breaks. I know it's happened to some of you, and it didn't happen to me, but I heard about it before I started my first job, and I thought, no, I'm going to make sure I just do the night before stuff where possible. Right, create that, and there's the backlog. Wow, so you've got your user stories in the backlog. You can now start to do the planning, which we'll get to in another video. So the topic menu's got to be in there. There's no point, I want the short menus. I've done offline videos, so I did repeat myself. Links to longer videos, that's lower priority. Hey, I'm getting into the priority here. Maybe I'll split this video in two, maybe not. But that's kind of useful, and I'll show you some other screens and some other time. But I think hopefully that's shown you a little bit about user stories and how to use them. Please comment on what you feel your favourite way of going about user stories is, or your best user story examples, and maybe the ones you have an issue with, and we'll discuss them. Cheers guys, subscribe and all of that, and there's plenty more to come on that. Bye.